Alright, what's up guys? We are not doing a YouTube live because there's really bad reception on PCH in Malibu. So instead we're just going to record a video and then we're going to post it and you guys can watch it. And it'll be like a live. So we're here with Tara and Katie Jack from the team. Alex is a little sick today, so she couldn't make it. And we're going to give you guys a tour of Malibu. We're not going to give you a tour of all of Malibu because Malibu is huge. But we're going to give you, I would say, a tour of Malibu Beach from the east side all the way to Point Dume, which is going to be the most popular part. We're not going to cover like Broad Beach, it's a little bit further down, or County Line. But right now we are on PCH. We just passed Sunset and the Getty Villa. We're heading up Topanga Canyon, and this is kind of where Malibu starts. If you guys aren't familiar with Malibu is a newer city. So it was part of the city of LA, or maybe it was like a unincorporated part of the county of Los Angeles. But in '91, it became its own city, which I think is a good thing, because now they have control over the city. And as you know, LA is a really big city. And anyway, so that's a good part. We're currently going through an area called Las Tunas, and houses here. So Tara, if you don't mind grabbing that, and we're going to show you a little bit about what makes Malibu so popular. So over here on the left is going to be Las Tunas Beach. It's basically from like Topanga all the way to like Big Rock, and it's this is probably like entry-level beach here on the left.
Entry level?
Yeah, entry level in Malibu, right? So anywhere between, I would say 3 to 4 million up to 5 or 6 million, depending on the house. So there's several different kind of communities within PCH. This is going to be the first one. Then you're going to have, I believe it's called Big Rock, and then La Costa, and then Carbon. So we're going to drive you through each and all of these, but that's just like the first little strip here. So Tara, let's talk a little bit about why Malibu. You're an LA resident, right?
I'm an LA resident, and I lived in Malibu for a few years.
You did?
I did.
Wait, what?
Yeah, just a few years while I was just right up coastline.
Oh, don't your grandparents have a place out here?
My grandparents have a place right over there. They're kind of like on the border of Pacific Palisades and Malibu. But yeah, I was here for about 2 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is really cool. It's the best part of LA County, at least I think.
Yeah.
I think
Sunset
Malibu,
Mesa?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not in that complex, but just right up there.
Okay, got
They
it.
have a house. I think the coast of Malibu runs for like 21 miles, right? I think that's like the stretch of PCH.
21 miles, yeah.
Yeah, and obviously Malibu is known for its great surf, nice restaurants on the beach. And obviously the beautiful houses. There's so much great architecture, just like in the hills right here, right above the water, just on the coast right here. Malibu is awesome. It's a destination of everyone all around the world.
It's the Hamptons of LA.
It's the Hamptons of LA.
Yeah.
But I think Malibu is way more unique, to be honest.
I've never been to the Hamptons, but I'm sure you have because Jeremy's from New York, right?
Right. And, I love the Hamptons, but it's a totally different vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Malibu has a lot more style.
Yeah. Hamptons is a little bit more kind of classic, a little bit more bougie.
Yeah, and it feels more like residential in a way.
Okay.
But yeah, it is more bougie.
Yeah.
But I like the laid back vibe of Malibu.
Yeah. I think a lot of people do,
Yeah.
So a lot of celebrities, people in the entertainment business, and just people in general, if they're living in LA, anywhere in LA, it's like wherever they go out, they want to be dressed up.
Right.
And everybody, so a lot of people that own houses, Brentwood, Palisades, Bel Air, Beverly Hills, Hollywood Hills, they also have a house out here in Malibu for the weekend, for the summertime. So they'll go back and forth, and it's great because again, they come here to just kind of relax and cool down because LA it's like New York, right? It's the hustle and bustle of LA. It's very draining on the body, right? So when you come out here, it's very relaxing. like Tara said, it's just everybody here just comes here to relax.
Yep.
And you can see, I mean, you can tell by the way they dress. Although I think in the last few years it's becoming a little bit more bougie.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's been a ton of, I guess, like new restaurants popping up, and the Malibu, shopping center has definitely gotten way busier, I think. But the best part is, I still think that Malibu is so easily accessible. For most people that live in the city and have their second home here, they don't have to drive 2-3 hours to get to their second house.
Yeah.
And I think that's also really important.
Is that how long it'll take to get to the Hamptons?
Yeah, definitely, especially because there's so much traffic.
So let me show you. This is one of the first restaurants here in Malibu, Duke's. Right on the water. Good spot there if you want to have some drinks, cocktail. So right here, Las Flores goes up. It's a really great drive. If you guys ever want to drive up and get a nice view of Malibu from the mountains, that is one of the most beautiful drives in probably all of LA. This is a great drive up here, up Las Flores. And then you can kind of, ride along the mountainside right here. But this right here is called La Costa Beach. This is gonna be one of the most expensive beaches in Malibu. Probably third or fourth to Malibu Colony, Malibu Cove Colony, and Carbon Beach. But houses here are ranging anywhere between 7-8 million up to in the teens somewhere. And this right here, Malibu La Costa, is a little it's a HOA that belongs to some of the homes up here in this hill. So they have access to the beach in La Costa, okay? So there's not a lot of houses here on La Costa. Most of these, beaches have anywhere between, 30 to 80 homes. And then like this here, this is a break. And then you have this next beach. This is one of the most expensive beaches in Malibu here. It's called Carbon Beach, or Billionaires Beach. This house right here, which was bought by Grant Cardone for $40 million last year, or I think this year. Larry Ellison owns most of the real estate here in Carbon Beach, as well as, I believe, the land in the restaurant Nobu. There's not a lot of houses here on the hillside. So this right here, and to me, Carbon Beach, I think the location obviously is huge. But it's also the fact that the houses are really big. So you have houses, that are 2 or 3 lots. So right there, that's like a double lot. There's some single lots, and there's some triple and quadruple lots. Like that one right there, that's probably like 7 or 8 lots, right? That thing's probably worth like 200 million. But the highest sell here, I believe, was from our company, and I believe it was 117 million.
It was 110.
110.
Yeah.
Let's see how this works here. Yeah, hold this way. So we're gonna hit up. Why don't you show them, one of the most expensive or one of the most exclusive restaurants here in Malibu right now? It's called Nobu.
Nobu. We all
probably
know
been
Nobu.
around for how long?
This particular one, less than 10 years.
Less than 10 years.
Yeah, this one is newer.
It's a newer.
Somewhat.
Yeah, and that was built by Larry Ellison. I believe he's the one who owns this lot here, and right next door to it is a small little hotel, which I believe was owned by his girlfriend. And then you have the Soho House. So the Soho House here in Malibu is exclusive. So if you want to join the Soho House, right, in LA, you do not have access to the Malibu one. You have access to all the other ones, but the Malibu one is an exclusive one just for the people that have, a membership at this Soho House in Malibu. It's really beautiful. I've been there a couple times. It's great. It's right on the water.
Oh, it's so fancy. How'd you get in there?
I'm not a member.
How'd you get in there?
I'm not. They were looking for like a cleaning person. So so I'm good at that. So that's the Nobu. It's empty right now. It's still pretty early. And then this is the small little hotel. I think there's probably like 8 rooms or 9 rooms there. And then the Soho House, actually I think that's the hotel, and before that was the Soho House. So we're coming up to the pier right now, and then we're also coming up to one of the most expensive cells as well in Malibu. It's up in that hill right there. That was once owned by an African dictator who took money out of this country and bought that. So it was going through a long investigation. Anyway, it ended up selling. That's Matthew Perry's old house right there. And this is the pier. And the pier has had a revitalization in the last, I would say, 4 or 5 years.
I love that little restaurant that's right there, Malibu Farm.
It's
one
really
of my favorite spots.
It's a good restaurant for sure.
And Malibu Cafe up in the hills is really nice too, if you haven't been there.
Yeah, and this is one of the most famous surf spots in the world right here. Malibu First Point. It's a great surf spot. There's 3 different points, and it's right in front of the Addison House, which is a historic house. Have you guys been there?
No. Yeah.
Addison House is really, really cool.
Wedding venue.
Oh, you can have weddings there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. So we're headed over to the Malibu Country Mart, which is probably one of the only shopping centers in Malibu. Even though Malibu is really long, 21 miles, it doesn't offer a lot of areas to shop in, and I think that's probably the allure of coming to Malibu, is like you're kind of away from all that. But this area has also had a boom, I feel like, in the last like 5 or 6 years.
Right. I always take pictures of celebrities going into the Country Mart.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I feel like this is really the only shopping center there is in Malibu.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah. I think there's a Whole Foods here as well. So if you're part of, if you live in any of these, small little beach communities, you have, obviously your grocery stores, you have high-end markets, high-end stores here, some good restaurants. This is a good Greek restaurant if you guys have never been here. It's called Taverna Tony. Really, really good Greek food. And also music there on the weekends. So highly recommend it if you guys want to come there. I think this Whole Foods is pretty new.
Yeah.
That just opened up pretty recently.
Yeah.
I want to take you guys through Malibu Colony. So let's talk about, we talked about La Costa Beach, Carbon Beach, obviously, a single lot teardown is like 10 million, and you got houses up to $100 million. There's construction going on here. Not sure what they're going to be building here. Maybe retail or office.
Stores, yeah.
Yeah. But right behind the Malibu Country Mart is a very popular gated community called Sarah Retreat. Houses there in between 4 to 5 million up to $80, $100 million, with really, really large lots. It's horse property there as well, so you can have horses and animals, which is really nice. But if you look here, a lot of Malibu is still not developed, and again, I think that adds to the charm of living in Malibu. There's still a lot of land, which makes it a lot more peaceful. So we've talked about most of the communities that are closest to LA, and those are going to be the most expensive ones because obviously if you're living in LA and you're buying a house out here, and I would say a lot of the residents that live in LA, they're not primary residents. They're people that have second, third, fourth, fifth houses. So it keeps Malibu pretty quiet for most of the year, although in the summertime Malibu gets really, really busy. So a lot of the people that own houses out here, they also rent their houses for a lot of money in the summertime, because the summertime is obviously peak months here for anybody from Europe or Asia, or even in LA that don't even own a house in Malibu. They'll just rent a house. And there's rentals, as cheap as maybe $10,000 or $15,000 a month for something really small, to up to $300,000 a month. So it gets really, really expensive. Yeah. We're driving right next to Malibu Colony. There's about 120 houses here. A lot of celebrities own a house here. Sting owns a house here. Jonah Wilson, is that his name?
Hill?
Yeah, Jonah Hill. Yeah, Jonah Wilson's the agent in our office. Jonah Hill has a house on the market here for $8 million. And so landside houses in between, $6 7-8 million up to probably 10-12 million.
Yeah.
And then beachside houses here are anywhere in between, I would say 10-12 million up to 30-40 million. And you can't even tell how expensive this is because this is the entrance to Malibu. Like it's really, really kind of not
unassuming.
There you go. It's unassuming. It's very unassuming. And that's going to be the most expensive price per square foot in all of Los Angeles, is right here in Malibu Colony. I think a couple years ago, the average price per square foot in Malibu Colony was around 5,000 square feet, $5,000 a square foot.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Have you guys been there before, Malibu Colony?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the houses there are they're not all big. I would say between 2,000 for a really small little shack, little beach shack, up to 5,000-6,000 square feet. But most of the houses are around 3,000 or 4,000 square feet.
Right. But I think with Malibu Colony, like you don't get really like the amount of land that you would up there.
Exactly.
Like they're so tightly. Like,
they're super tight. Right. There's literally they have you're right. They have very little land, very small lots. So you either have a landside property or a beachside property. If you have a landside property, you don't have access to the beach unless you're one of the, I think maybe 20 owners that has a small little vacant beach lot, and they have a key and they can get through there. Let me show you guys Malibu Road, because this is also a really expensive part of Malibu. This is right next to Malibu Colony. This is still part of Colony Beach. So these houses here are going to go in between 15 to 30, 40 million dollars. That's a double lot right there. And these houses here actually have more sand, more beach than Malibu Colony. Sometimes during the year in Malibu Colony, the sand gets washed away and there's a little bit more rock and you don't have a beach. Like the water is going to be hitting your seawall. But some of these houses here have much deeper beaches. So here you have houses anywhere between, again, on this whole road from Malibu Colony all the way to PCH, I would say in between, again, 10 million up to 30, 40 million dollars. Any thoughts on Malibu? Any other comments?
I think part of the expense too is that there's only so much beachfront property that you can have,
Exactly.
It's only 21 miles, which sounds like a lot, but once you start building it up, there's just not any more land to go off of.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, there's only so much. And north of Malibu, there really isn't any good coastline to build on. I think it's not like really buildable. And then you get into Oxnard. And
stay out of Oxnard.
No, I think Oxnard could be a place to buy now if you can't afford Malibu, and a place that may go up in value in the future, right? I mean, it's got some great beaches. You can buy a beach house there right on the beach for a couple $2 million. It's a little bit windier there.
It's also known as the murder capital of the world. But yeah, sure.
Is it really?
Capital of the world.
Not the world,
No.
but maybe of like California. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because there's so much. Yeah, because there's also so much land there. Like.
Land means murders?
No, but I mean, like, people they could just dump whatever they want.
I've never even heard of murders in Oxnard.
Yes, Oxnard is pretty dangerous.
No,
but
it's not dangerous.
it is,
It's
bro.
agricultural. It's mostly ag. I've never ever
listen to
heard.
Paul or
No. I've never heard of that before.
I'm good with Malibu, but don't take me past that.
No Oxnard for
No Oxnard for
Tara.
Tara.
I do have a listing out there that's coming up in 6 months. Tara, do you want it?
No, I do not.
No.
Never seen it.
So we're still on Malibu Road, and right above us is just a big bluff. There's a park up here. There's a couple of really big houses. Some of the most expensive cells, actually the most expensive cells in Malibu are going to be the big bluff properties. We're talking right here, just above here. Cher has a house up here. But the most expensive sale ever in Malibu was it last year or this year for $177?
I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, so it was recently, but that's the
Yeah.
biggest sale, $177 million. So some of the biggest sales are usually either like Bel Air, Beverly Hills, or Malibu. And in this area, the biggest sale, which we're going to be driving by, is called Paradise Cove, and they have massive bluff properties. And when I say bluff properties, I'm talking about 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 acres on a big bluff overlooking the ocean with maybe like a what's that called, like a vernacular that goes down, or like a staircase that goes down from the bluff down to the beach. So those are going to be some of the more pricier homes because of the land, and they have 2 houses on a lot, or a guest house and a massive pool, a tennis court, right? A lot of land. And again, a lot of these beach houses, most of the beach houses are going to have very little land, like the ones that we're seeing here on Malibu Road.
Right, but most importantly, every single house here has a view.
Yeah.
Right. And I think
On the
they
beach.
need it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also even like up there, like in the hills, they're very city planners, whatever, are very like particular. They make sure that every house is.
Yeah, the city of Malibu is very strict with building. That's why it's not a very hot spot it's not a big hot spot for developers.
Mm-hmm.
They rather say in the city of LA, where it's a lot easier to build. But you can build here, and there are some new developments here. There's just not a ton of new developments here.
But then you were mentioning the other day, you have to pass through the coastal commission to do a lot.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So it might take like a year long.
And this is a good example of what it takes to build on the beach. You have to build massive caissons. So this thing here is basically a big hammer that's going into the ground and putting caissons all the way down to some kind of bedrock. And that's why it's so expensive to build in Malibu, and a lot of developers don't see any kind of profit in building on the beach because it's so expensive. So a lot of the older houses are either kept and just redone inside, and just kind of structurally redone, but they'll use the existing caissons there for the houses. And like Tara said, a lot of the houses that are not on the beach have views. And so up here, up on this on the right side, up on Malibu Road, there are houses that have some nice ocean views.
Mm-hmm.
And look at this view here, this beautiful view here at the end of Malibu Road. You can see all the way down to Latigo Beach down below there, and at the end over there is Point Dume, which we'll end up in a little bit.
Most of the crimes that happen in Oxford happen in
Oxford?
property.
Oxnard?
Oxnard.
Okay.
It's property. 4,300 out of the 5,100.
Oh!
Wait, what is that? Hold on. Go back.
So Oxnard annual crimes. They
Yeah.
break it down into violent crimes and property crimes.
Okay.
For last year, there were 5,100 crimes.
Okay.
And 4,300 of those were to property.
Okay. How
So,
about
like,
the murders?
burglaries.
We're talking about murders.
I mean, whatever.
How many murders? I mean, whatever.
Well, the crime index is a 20 out of 100, so it's only safer than 20% of U.S. cities.
Ah!
Violent crime. Chances of becoming
Sheriff's
a
house.
victim, 1 in 272.
Oh my. That's a lot, bro.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. Eight murders in the whole year.
8 murders, 274
Sorry,
robberies.
we're talking about murders right now. I don't know why in Oxnard. Anyway,
No.
that's sheriff's property right there. That's on the bluff, just above Malibu Road, and we didn't go through here, but this is looking east. Pepperdine's on the left, and you got Malibu Road on the right down below here on the bluff.
Oh yeah, Pepperdine.
Do you have any friends that went to Pepperdine, Tara?
No, my cousin goes there for law school.
Okay.
Says it's hell.
All right, so we're now driving towards Point Dume. We're gonna pass through Paradise Cove, which I think is a great spot if you want to go out and hang out at the beach and walk along Little Dume and Point Dume on the beach side. Have you done that before? It's really nice.
They have that cute little restaurant, obviously.
Yeah, they got I wouldn't say it's a great restaurant. It's a great location.
Yeah,
One of the only locations on the beach.
Yeah.
I think it's only that one and maybe Sunset Restaurant off in Dume Beach, where they have a restaurant right on the sand.
Where's Jeffrey's? It's not really on.
Joffrey's is on the bluff.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the mountainside. I think, it's not a very popular, topic when you talk about Malibu, but I think the mountainside of Malibu is equally as beautiful, if not more beautiful, than the beachside. I mean, they have amazing mountains, amazing hikes up here. They have the Malibu, is it the state park or the Lagoons State Park, where they have that really cool little, it's like a creek that runs into this like little water pool.
Right.
Cool little hangout spot there. Some
cute
cliff
houses,
jumping.
too.
Yeah. There's a lot of really nice houses up on the hillside. Not as popular, obviously not as expensive, but there's still, houses upwards of, $5-10 million on the land side of Malibu.
What is the least expensive house to sold in Malibu? We never talk about that.
In the last 12 months?
Yeah.
Probably like around, 1.5. Yeah. I mean, you can get a townhouse or a condo under $1 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good to know.
So if you're looking for like a little, weekend spot, there's plenty of options there.
Nice.
Well, I want to say there's plenty of options. There's not a ton of condo complexes in Malibu. We didn't talk about the surf in Malibu. I think we kind of touched on it, but it's a world-renowned surf community. There's probably 10 to 15 different surf point breaks. You got Topanga. You have the pier. First Point. You have Latigo right here, which is popular for like paddle boarders. You have Point Dume. If you get a really nice swell, it's probably one of the best spots in Malibu if there's a nice swell. There's Leo Carrillo, which is way at the end, which we're not going to get to. But this is an amazing view right here of Point Dume. Actually, that's Paradise Cove right there, and then on the other side of that is Point Dume. So Point Dume, a lot of celebrities live in Point Dume. I think Point Dume offers a lot more tranquility, and it's a lot quieter. Bigger lots, bigger houses there. Lots there going in between $5 million for like a land side, and then for a bluff side lot, $10 million for about an acre of land. Joffrey's here, really good restaurant on the bluff.
Well, obviously, the deeper you go into Malibu, the more secluded and private it's going to feel.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You used to work this area quite a bit.
Yeah,
right?
I did. When I first started at Hilton Hyland, I worked with this guy named Chad Rogers, which I'm sure you guys have heard of him from our listing, but he's from Malibu Colony. That's where he grew up. He actually grew up in Sunset Mesa, and then they moved to Malibu Colony. So I spent a lot of time, helping him sell his properties, his listings, lease or for sale in Malibu Colony, as well as the rest of Malibu. So he is the Malibu guy at Hilton Hyland. But here are some of the most expensive sales and houses in Malibu. Paradise Cove. You can't even see the houses, but these houses are going to come from here all the way down to the bluff, which is probably a few hundred yards. So they're really, really big lots. Paradise Cove is right here. If you ever get a chance to come here for some brunch or just to hang out on the beach, really, really good spot. There's also the most expensive mobile homes probably in the world, up to $4 million mobile homes. Yeah, in Paradise Cove. Really, really expensive. Yeah. But there's a ton of communities in Malibu. I mean, we're just kind of, just talking about maybe only like 5 or 10% of the communities in Malibu. There's a ton on the land side. Yeah, these are some great condos here. Point at Malibu. We're also gonna have lunch today at Tara and I's.
Don't even give it away. I don't want people to know about our spot.
No, we gotta tell people about it. If they're gonna be going to Malibu,
You're right.
They gotta go to Lily's.
Gotta go to Lily's.
It's not like a very bougie. It's not bougie at all. First of all, it's not a. It's not a scene, right? So if you're looking for that, then don't come here. But if you're looking for really good Mexican food, it's the
Top
best.
notch.
Yeah, it's top notch. Yeah, it's really good.
So we're not going to Nobu then?
Forget Nobu.
Kenny wants to go spend $200 on Nobu.
No, I thought you
4
were
pieces
taking
of
us.
fish. Oh, that's right.
Totally. So here, Canaan Dume, this street right here that we're gonna pass right now, goes through some wineries, and we haven't really talked about wineries. I think that's also a big, it's probably in the last like 5 or 6 years again, it's becoming a thing, is coming out to here and hitting up some of the wineries, and they have, you know, bands on the weekends. So talk about some of the wineries here in Malibu.
Yeah, I mean, we have Rosenthal Winery, right?
Yep.
And then there's just Malibu Wines, right?
Malibu
That's like
Wines.
the biggest one.
Yeah.
And then pretty close to that, there's also another one. I forget its name. It's a little bit smaller, and they also use that as like, you know, a wedding venue or event spaces.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, just given the amount of land there is, and of course it being the right climate in California, growing wine here or grapes or whatever is, you know, pretty easy.
Yeah, and I think, you know, again, there's a lot more than the beach. Malibu offers a lot more, right? Good hikes. You know, if you have like a motorcycle or like a sports car, a lot of people bring their nice cars or their motorcycles and they'll drive up the canyons because it's a really nice drive. You got beautiful views of the ocean as well as the mountains in Malibu. Yeah, the winery. There's the Old Place. That's an amazing restaurant. I think it's in Agora Hills. I'm not sure if that's in Malibu, but it's
on the border.
It's off of Mulholland.
Yeah.
So Mulholland actually goes through Malibu, and so I don't know where it stops. You know, it goes on Encino. I think it stops somewhere over there, and then it continues. I think off of Topanga Canyon. So Alex, if you're watching this, I'm sure you're not going to watch this, but if you are watching this, that's for you. So Point Dume, I think Julia Roberts lives here. There's some really, you know, really popular celebrities that have either owned here or have a place here on Point Dume. Again, Point Dume is the end of the Santa Monica Bay, which is Point Dume all the way to Palos Verdes. So that whole bay is called Santa Monica Bay. It's also referred to as the Queen's Necklace. But Point Dume is beautiful. It's they have 2 streets that cover most of the ocean side of the point. That's called one's Birdview, and the other one is Cliffside. And today we're going to give you a sneak peek on one of Chris Cortazzo's listings on Point Dume. And Chris is one of the biggest agents in the world, and he does all of his business here in Malibu. Great real estate agent now with Compass. Anything else, guys? That you guys want to talk about Malibu? I feel like we've covered a lot.
We've covered a lot.
Talk about the fires, because this area
gosh.
got hit by the fires really hard.
Yeah. When was that? Even there was one that was like really, really bad a few years ago.
There was one a few years ago that really took most of Malibu. I mean, there was I think it burned like a couple $1 billion worth of real estate.
Yeah. Really
And it also made it really hard for people to get insurance up here. And it's still really expensive. I think that's one of the things that you have to consider if you are buying in Malibu is consider the cost of insurance.
Or the hills in general.
Huh?
Or the hills in general,
Yeah.
too.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, and that's part of the trouble with PCH too. It's like the main way in and out, so you're kind of stuck. Which obviously it's a really beautiful drive, but it also leads to a lot of traffic and makes you kind of get stuck back here.
Yeah, that's true. On the weekends in the summertime, you have to. I mean, like if you're like a resident out here, they're not going to the city. They're not going to Santa Monica or Beverly Hills on the weekends because the traffic on PCH, like Katie Jack was saying, is really, really bad. So that's why a lot of people that are renting here for the summertime, they're either renting in June, but more popular July and August. But sometimes they'll rent from June all the way to September. They'll get like a 4-month lease for a house out here, and then they'll either have their family stay here that whole time, or they'll come on the weekends and they'll just have the house vacant during the week. There's a couple houses, like this house here was burnt down. Now it's a new house. Or that was burnt down. But there's a lot of houses here on Point Dume that burnt down. And fire season is basically the end of fall, after the summertime when it's really dry and it hasn't rained for a long time, and it's windy. Then it becomes really, really dangerous out here to stop a fire.
That's coming up, but we're not there yet, so we're safe for another few months.
Yeah, seriously. We'll see how it goes. You know, there hasn't been a lot of rain here recently, so I know that. What's this guy's name? Howie Mandel had a house up here. He sold it. I actually went to his 4th of July party because Chad was friends with him. So I went to his 4th of July party here a long time ago, maybe 7-8 years ago.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did he shake your hand?
No, he did not. No. Chad actually warned me about that. He's like, don't even put your hand out, because he doesn't shake your hand. So.
So do one of these.
I have no idea. I think I did one of these, the elbow. Hey, what's up, man?
Oh, God.
So a lot of the houses here, even if you're not on the bluff side, the point actually kind of goes up. So you do get some views. Not all the houses here, but some of the houses here do get some views of the ocean, of the Queen's Necklace, or looking north towards the murder capital of the world.
Which we proved was right.
Totally not proved was right. Jesus, how do we prove that was right? You're unbelievable. Don't worry, she's not always a liar, okay, guys? This here is the former Howie Mandel house.
Nice.
Really, really pretty. Big lot.
Gosh.
Nice views from the backyard. Look at that. It's a new construction right there. Should we go in that house?
Sure. Go knock on the door.
That's a new construction right there.
And right around here, there's a great hiking trail that takes you.
Yes. Really, really pretty. And you get views of both sides.
Right.
I think it's probably the only spot where you can hike and see both sides, right?
Yeah.
Of the coastline.
Which one is that?
What's it called?
Probably something like Point Dume or something. I mean,
Yeah, I guess it is.
Yeah.
We're gonna come across it like pretty soon,
Yeah.
I guess, if we're going this way.
yeah. So we're gonna cut across here. I'll show you guys bird view. I show you my only sale here on bird view.
That's pretty
when
good.
I was working with Chad. Yeah. That was actually built by the founder of Equinox.
Oh, really?
He built it, and then I think he moved to Hawaii, so he wanted to sell it. But this is back in 2012 when our client bought it, and there hadn't been a big sale in Malibu of that size. You know, it was sold for $21 million in years. So it was probably one of the biggest sales in Malibu that year. Right here on Birdview. Beautiful property. It's on the market right now for $50 million or $55 million. But this is Birdview here. So this is one of the two streets that has most of the bluff or oceanside properties. So some of these lots here are split in half, and there's two, but most of these houses have lots of an acre. And the one that I sold was here at the end. Beautiful, modern, new construction. Really, really pretty house. And probably used very little, and it's right here.
It's a shame.
Yeah, gorgeous
But very
property.
nice.
Yeah,
Wow.
can't really see it
No,
from
but
here.
Nice gate.
But it's got these beautiful cypress trees here on this left side of the property here, and they have that view.
And here's the little hiking trail.
Yes, and if you guys like to hike, that's a great trail up here. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of parking, so you have to kind of walk a few blocks in order to get to that trail, or you can park illegally like they did.
Yeah.
But that's a great view because you have the view of Queen's Necklace down that way. And on a clear day, you can see all the way down to, actually, yeah, you can see it right there. That's Palos Verdes over there. That is not an island. That is Palos Verdes. And on a really clear day, you can see Catalina. You can also walk down this trail here, down to some stairs, into the beach as well. And I think they're rebuilding the stairs because it was falling apart. Yeah. And this is Cliffside. So this is the other street that is really popular. I think this is going to be a little bit more expensive than Birdview, not by much, but again, some houses here that are worth, you know, $40-50 million. We're gonna show you, we're gonna try to show you a house that's on the market there on Cliffside. We'll ask the agent if it's okay to film a little bit.
Let's get to the house.
And yeah, so let us know if you have any questions about Malibu. We just kind of scraped the surface of you know, what is Malibu. It's a great city, a lot to offer. If you guys have any questions about Malibu, about buying real estate in Malibu, about any of the beaches, about prices, or any of that stuff, please let us know. We're more than happy to help out. And hopefully we can continue this video at the property. So stay tuned. And make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. All right, talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Just take it over the top.
Wow. Okay. So anyway, we're gonna finish the video. We're not able to go to the Point Dume property. It was canceled for caravan, but we're here at another bluff property, and look at this amazing view of Dume Beach. So this is the other side of Malibu that we haven't really gone to. But anyway, if you guys have any questions, again, make sure to reach out to us if you want any information about Malibu, houses here, or just want to talk. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.